Let's have a look at a full CDN call flow. For this call flow, I will take the case of an end user contacting or willing to watch content through our CDN, which would be composed of the request router, an edge cache layer, an intermediate or shield cache layer, and then the origins directly. So as we explained, the session is going to start with the player requesting the manifest or the playlist to NEA CDN Balancer. This is done automatically through the web application or the mobile device application, exposing all the content available to the end user. So when he clicks play, this is basically going to send a request to NEA CDN Balancer. So the request arrives to NEA CDN Balancer, and as we explained, NEA CDN Balancer is going to check the most appropriate source cluster to serve the content. Then once it finds it, it will select one server inside this cluster, and then respond to the end user with the 302 response code stating your content is located here. Go send a new request for that content to that edge server. So the player is then going to send a new request that will go directly to this edge cache that has been selected. The edge cache will then first check if it has the content locally. If it has the content locally, it will serve it directly to the end user. If it doesn't, it needs to acquire it, so it will put the end user on hold. We'll start into the source cluster election process to find the most appropriate cluster to get the content from. Then it will select one cache server or one source server, in the CDN cluster, and then it will send the request itself to this source server that it has selected, in our case, the intermediate cache. What will then happen is that the intermediate cache will then receive the request and check its own cache. If it has the content, it will deliver it to the edge cache, who will deliver it in turn to the end user. As you see, the end user is never in contact with another server than the edge cache. If it doesn't have it, it needs to acquire it from a source. So it will basically elect a source cluster, select a server in this source cluster, and then send the request to get the content to this source server, which in this case is our origin server. The origin server is going to generate the content, deliver it to the intermediate cache, who will then deliver it to the edge cache, who will then deliver it to the end user. At this point, as we said, the end user is only talking either to NEA CDN Balancer, and then once redirected, it will only talk to the edge cache and no other server in the process.